Hello, everyone. It's Cricket Barrientos at Sounds of Autism, and I am here today for Spectrum Talks and Tips International, and I'm co-hosting our show today with Dr. Anila Khan, a clinical psychologist and psychotherapist, speech therapist, and many, many more things that you'll see later on. And she's all the way from Pakistan. Right now, she is 12-hour difference from us as far as time is concerned. So for me, it's about 8 o'clock in the morning, and for her, it's 8 p.m. So very different. So welcome, Dr. Khan. Please introduce yourself and share with everybody who you are and why we met today and what we're talking about.
Thank you so much, Cricket. It was lovely talking to you. Nice to meet you today. And like the other day, we meet with each other and we talk a lot and we share a lot of common interests because whenever it is about autism, it's about well-being of the family who have children with special needs with different needs. So whenever you find a person who is like-minded, you want to talk and you want to do a lot of more. So recently I started a lot of global thing because I am in this profession since 2011, and I started this as maybe I came into this profession by accident. Not by accident, but I would say that I started work with children with autism by accident. That was my last year project, and we have to take some cases so that we do some case profiling and present in for our last final project for our degree. So I went to that institution, and luckily I was very good with studying. I was very good with theory because it is my habit that whenever you start reading something, then you have to go into detail. So I would understand everything to clear my concept. So I knew the three of a lot of things. So they said to me that, do you want to do a job with us? So I said that I cannot do because at moment I have to complete my degree. Then I will come. So the moment that was my last paper, next day I went to them and I start working with them. And they give me 7 children of autism, 7 to 8 children of autism in one room. And I was sitting there and I was looking at those children, and they were so innocent, and the age would be from maybe 3 to 7 years, a baby 7 or 8 years. So there were children, and they said that you have to spend time with them. You have to work on their sitting span. You have to work on their attention span. You have to feed them. Actually, you have to taught them how to eat. At that time, they were not even saying that you have to taught them, because when you're working in an institution and when you're you could say employee, so they're not giving you a lot of tools to be independent therapist as well. So with passage of time, you learn a lot of things. And when I was working with these children, I start asking a lot of questions. Oh, what we are going to do? What are these children? Why are, because you could say the irony of a lot of problems with children and adults is that when you study that till now, after like maybe it was 10 or 11 years, I did not saw a child with autism that is by book. Every child came to me with a different personality. Every child came to me with a different parenting style, with a different background. And that was so interesting for me to understand that what I need to do for them. And every time there would be a parent asking me, what should I do about my child? Because they would not ask me question about speech therapy. They would not ask me question about because I became speech therapist later on. Before that, I was becoming a psychotherapist. So at that time, I did not get that idea that what to do. Um, That is
It's
something.
okay.
It's okay. Then my mother is calling me for something. Okay. So at that time, I was not getting the idea what I'm doing, because I was becoming, because we just knew that there's a other therapist and there's a psychotherapist who sit in the and there's a person who's sitting in the couch. That Freud thing, the classical psychotherapy thing. I was doing and we did not get the enough information about child psychology. We did not have idea what is developmental psychopathology. Yes, we read these things. It's not that we not read these things, but we have seen that from a social perspective, that a child is 3 years old, he have to do that, and that he have to go into society. What are the institution, different institution, family institution, education institution. So we just read development from that perspective. We don't have that idea that why it's so important for a mother or a therapist to understand the developmental milestone, why it's so important to a child to speak at certain age, why the first try is important, why it is important that child was put in incubator or not. So that was question I was asking, and that they were not skilled to answer my question. And eventually they start avoiding me, and they would say, our therapist is coming, you have to ask question from them. And I was continuously asking questions, and I was looking to other people what that, because they were doing ABA over there as well. They were working on remedial therapy as well. There were a lot of therapies going on around, and I was looking into every therapy. And I am a kind of a quick learner, so I would learn everything eventually. I would see what she's doing with that child, how she's going to ask that child to follow the command. So eventually I went to all these things and I learned these things. So there was a time where maybe it was 6 months would be have passed, and I have to just because I was doing some professional degree over there, so I had to leave that place. And that day I left that place and I start working in our own institution. So my whole class would be there. They would take classes, and I would be the one who is doing something practical. So you could say that from day one I am working with children. So from day one I am working as a professional. So for me, it is training while working. It's not like the training in the classroom. So it's training from working. So I went by eventually, and I would see a lot of parents. They would come to me, and I would see their sad faces. And when there would be a time that I would not have the idea what to answer that. So when I listen to their question, when I listen to their query, that give me encouragement to read more about children, to read more about therapies, to read more about assessment tools, to read more about understanding what is a child, what is child psychology, what is child developmental milestone, what is developmental psychopathology. So that's how I went started doing this thing, and that's how I have to study, so that I have to study hard so that I give answer to those parents, so that they get some hope from me. And I was so happy that I was able to make them understand their child situation. And I'm yes, I could take pride that those children I am working with, they are doing very better. And you let me give you a recent example. I was just in there was a time when I was doing that research thing. So I was not doing a job that time. I was working by the university. So that was a kind of a remote job. So after that, I took a job from a school, and there maybe I have 7 to 8 children with autism and with some other disability as well. I was working with them, and I worked them, and I worked so hard for them that now all of them are into normal school. So I think that's a big achievement for me. And when I saw them sitting in the class, and when I saw them behaving more, well than other students, when I saw them giving response to the teacher, when I saw them eating their own food and listening to the teacher and following the command, and juggling these rhymes and telling teacher what are the those sounds, those phonics which I teach them. So that was kind of oxygen for me. So you could say that was my award actually. So that is about me. That's how I start working, and I did not look back. And I just established my own institution. Before I was working institution as well, so it's not that it's new for me. But now which institution I established is for children and for adult as well. And over there we are working on not just for early intervention, but we want to work on giving them some skills, so that one day they can be financially independent, so they can use those skills and for their financial independence, so that they're not looking towards something. Because like in our discussion and our previous discussion, as I told you that in your country situation is different, in my country, in Pakistan, situation is different. In your country, those a lot of things are about insurances and health insurance. Over here we don't have health insurance. Over here children are have to take these therapies in private setups. We have government setups as well, government institution as well. Few are working very good, and few are because they don't have resources, maybe they don't have that much idea what to do with these children. But those who are in private institution, they even don't understand what to do. So their children are juggling from 5 years in one institution, 5 in other institution, and eventually when they're 15-16 year old, they don't know what to do. I mean, some of them are not even trained into basic self-help skill. Basic self-help skill means eating independently, putting on their shoes. So that's the idea. That's idea that why I get to into establishing my own institution to work on early intervention, to work on skill building, actually more than skill building, because some of them got a lot good intelligence, those children who have autism. So it's not even about all the time intellectual disability. It's not about them. At the end of the day, those who are capable of taking themselves and who are capable of moving in the society are the one who is going to win that race, because it is the the war of survival. Who is going to survive in this cruel environment? So society is cruel. So I think we need to work on them, and what I think that is we need to work on with the family, because I'm working with the family. I am working with the school as well. I have to go because I'm doing advocacy work. I'm doing there and I'm advocating those children, that those children have to sit in the normal class, maybe for 30 minutes, maybe for 40 minutes, but they should know that what a child of same years is acting in a class. What is the meaning? What does that mean? That they have to take their they have to wait for their own turn, they have to share their thing, they have to give space to other people, and they have to play in a group like setting. So that's how I'm advocating. I'm working with family, and I want that we should advocating this in the community as well, so that someday if a mother find out that a child have autism, so she did not feel alone. She should have a place where she could go and she could talk. Okay. And I'm doing a lot of online thing as well. I'm conducting a support group in 2 languages currently. I'm moving to other language as well, and I'm doing giving workshops, and I'm doing a lot of live session on my channel on my Facebook. And I am also doing I'm calling a lot of international therapists to my forum, and I talk about mental health as well. So because it's not just that child health, mental health is everybody problem, and for me mental health is important, and it is for everyone. Child have mental health, adult have mental health, parents have mental health issues, family have mental health issue, and community have mental health issue. So I think we need to combine work on these things, and by reaching global community, by sharing idea, by sharing resources, I think we are doing best for these. And a day will come when the child, a mother will not be worried about a child, that what my child is going to do when he is crossing a certain age, when he is crossing the teenage, when he's 17 or 18 years old, what he's going to do. So into my discussion, and that's all about me.
I love it. But you know what? I said this to you the last time we talked. I said, I've never met somebody that talks faster than I do. And you talk so fast, but you get a lot of information out. And I love it. But Dr. Khan, I do want to ask you, who gives you your compassion and empathy side of life? Because you are very compassionate about this population. Where does that come from? Is it, your family? Were you raised that way? Is there somebody that motivated you when you were younger? Because not everybody thinks the way you do about people, human kindness and human compassion. And we know, both of us know, it doesn't matter where you live in the world, that we all struggle with getting society to support this population, no matter where we live, no matter where. You're in Pakistan, I'm here, you're in a different time zone. We have different beliefs and traditions in our world, yet, even with that, we have cruel people that are cruel, or people that don't understand and they won't embrace it. So who gave that to you?
Okay, what I feel, that people talk about, you have to be a leader, you have to be a strong person, but I think that it comes from your family. A strong woman is raised by a strong parenthood. A strong woman is raised by, a strong father. And that passion, what I feel is that passion is came from my mother's side, from my father's side, from my aunts. So I think it came from family side. But and the other thing is that I think that, and I just recently talk about that. I'm someone, and I recently find that out. It's not even I was working with that population for maybe 10 or 11 years, and I did not get that slight idea. My the person who trained me, I was a very difficult kid to train. I'm not an easy person. I have a lot of tantrums. I was so angry, and I would not listen to other people. I would get angry if somebody snub me, because maybe those signs and symptoms you see in these children as well. So they used to call me that I am ADHD girl. So when I start understanding and I start doing these live session with on Facebook, and I start to know that when there's a girl on autism, then the symptoms are different, and a lot of girls are underdiagnosed, and they are maybe diagnosed at the age of 16 or 17. So giving them, the idea is that a girl need to stay quiet. She need to smile all the time. She need to say yes to that. So giving that idea that these are girlish traits, these are good girl trait, maybe this is the indication of the some kind of disability, some kind of problem, or some kind of diagnosis as well. So I recently find that out that I have this condition. I am on spectrum and I'm a high functional autism. So maybe it gave me a little bit relief, but I always find a way to connect with these children. So it was never difficult for me. So I would understand that, I don't know, but maybe that was the reason, because I was in the same situation and I got that, you could say, that hyper focus thing, and I got that senses, I got that, emotions, to read the emotions and read between line thing, because those children are capable of these things. So maybe that was a thing that gave me that much passion. But I would say that, like, strong woman is raised by a strong family, so it's coming from that side. So I think that's how I am, and I took something from my family, and I took a lot of things from my, from my place, from, you could say, from these children, and the love I get from these children
Oh,
is so
yeah.
phenomenal, so genuine. One day I was working with, I was working with a girl, and she said that, in that school we have other children, with, with, so-called normal children, as so-called, I would say so-called, normal
Yeah.
children as well. So she said that they are not going to listen to us, and they are misbehaving, and maybe their father raised them like that, because they are so, pampered children, so-called pampered and so-called spoiled children. So I just said to her that we have a child, and that child was standing over them, and that child was on spectrum, and he was 8 years old. The intensity would be from, average to, you could say, swear. That was not say, but average to swear. Moderate to swear, actually, sorry, moderate to swear. So I just tell her that if I'm going to ask that child, just stay here, just one time, stay here, I'm coming. He will stay there, and he will look at me, and he will not even sit on that chair. I mean, he could sit on the chair. I did not ask him to stand up and wait for me. He would look at me, and he will see that whenever I came in the room back, and I would sit in that chair, then he will sit in that chair. So it means that that is a kind of respect, the compassion, and the love you are getting from these children. So
Yeah.
that is a genuine love. You're not going to get that genuine love from that other person and other people. And she was, in agree to that statement. That's why I feel that, even, that was a corona time, and I just did, that I was wearing a mask, and there was a girl. I did not work with that girl for quite a long time, and she was going in a car, and she was waving at me. I mean, she just recognized me. I don't know how, but she recognized me. She was waving at me. So the love, the compassion, the genuine, the genuine unconditional regard I just get from them. One day, I told you that I was so stubborn. I was so angry when I was, because more or less I was a child with spectrum. So I have these tantrum and stuff like that. So I was mocked at something, and I was sitting, and I was so upset. And a child came to me, and she said, "Teacher," the child was not verbal that much. I mean, I was working on a speech, and he came to me and said, "Teacher, what happened to you? Why are you so upset today?" And that was a kind of revelation for me. See, this child is able to talk. See, this child is able to understanding what is happening with me. And the moment when I get that idea that these children are taking, that energy from the therapist, at that day I get to understand that I have to separate my, my own feeling, or not my own feeling,
Yes.
but externally going around, and therapy time. So whenever I'm not in the, not that much, feeling okay or in the mood, so I don't do that therapy, because if I'm not feeling okay, then I'm not able to work with that child. So I just give him free time at that day. I would just do some other activity. So instead of, just getting hard on that child, I just give him time out, so that we both feel comfortable with each other. So I think that's how all about. I mean, I think it's fun working with children. I just love them. They're
Well,
so
you know what,
innocent.
Dr. Khan, I'm going to tell you, first of all, I listened to everything you said today, and the thing that really sticks out the most for me, a couple of things, but the most important one is that at some point in your life, you embraced the fact that you are living on the autism spectrum.
Yeah.
And when you embraced that, you decided that it was important that not only you help, yourself learn life, typical life or normal life, whatever you call it, right? But you wanted to help everybody else do the same thing.
Yeah.
And the more that we talk about autism, I think I've been doing this now 11 years with Sounds of Autism part-time, because I worked a full-time job, but now doing this full-time and talking to so many different individuals, especially women on the autism spectrum, you start learning about yourself, and you
Yeah.
say, Oh my gosh, I had OCD. I had all the gut issues when I was growing up. I walked on my toes. I play with my fingers. I do all these
Yeah.
things, right?
Yeah.
Myself, me
I
personally.
have
And I
specific
say,
interest. I like, shows. I like comics and stuff like that. So a lot of things. And let me tell you something else as well. When you're a therapist, you are not a therapist until and unless you understand yourself. So
yes,
you already knew in your whole life that something is different in you. Something is not, according to other people, or something is not, which is, other people are doing. But you have to make peace with yourself. So I did make peace with myself along maybe 3 to 4 years before that I would be fight with myself. And there was something else. My hyper focus was, I just find out my hyper focus. I have to find out what is my passion. You have to have something in your life that you need to go with that. So I just find my passion, and I just follow that, and I just work for that day and night. And whenever I feel upset, I would just put myself into my work. Whenever I feel that something is not going according to my opinion, and they are doing something wrong, they should not do that, and they are targeting me for something, and they're grouping against me, because it's not, a job in private sector is very difficult. If you have a government job over here, then nobody could do anything with you. I mean, you could not, you're untouchable. But when you're in private sector, then a lot of defaming is coming toward you, because there's a lot of professional jealousy, female jealousy. So whenever I would encounter a lot of these things, I would put myself more into my work. I would start learning more about children. I would start more learning about, like I'm very good with assessment tools. I know a lot of assessment tools. When I'm doing the individualized educational plan, when I'm doing their assessment, I read these, these journals, how I'm going to develop their IEP. So a lot of, you could say my skill is self-taught as well. I have to go to internet. I have to find out, okay, this is going around, what I'm going to do. Because in education institute, nobody taught me these things. Nobody taught me about autism. Nobody taught me about how to work with them. Nobody taught me how to develop their sitting span, how to develop their attention span, how to find out that what this child is capable of, and how to do their speech therapy actually. That is the most challenging thing, because I would start from zero to make them read 2 letter and 3 letter words. So which is a challenging thing. So I was told that you are talking so fast. How are you going to do therapy? How you are a therapist? So you could see, maybe I'm just fighting that odd. And when I was in university, somebody would, that would hurt me at that time. Maybe that somebody was there to mock me all the time. Talk slow, talk slow, talk slow. And when I am angry, that is, maybe you're living with the child, with the spectrum as well. When they're angry, when they're anxious, they talk more fast. You would understand this thing. So when I'm angry, when I was anxious, when I was giving that presentation, because social situation is different, I would talk more fast, and they would mock me all the time. Stay quiet, talk slow, talk slow, talk slow. So I am giving a presentation in front of maybe a class, maybe in front of 50 class, and a person is standing over there telling me talk slow, talk slow, talk slow. Now today, all of them are following me, all of them are listening to me, all of them are appreciating me, the work I'm doing. Nobody's doing what I'm doing. Maybe nobody's capable of doing that thing. Everybody's capable of. You have to work hard for yourself, and you have to work hard for the community. So I think maybe those situations make me more strong. And I was not able to get that, politics in the friendship and stuff like that. So a lot of presentation, maybe my 3 to 4 year, it is BS was a 4 year graduation program, 4 year graduation program. Maybe in my 3 years, I would have given my final presentation, major presentation alone, because I was not able to have a friend with me. I was not able to understand that how you're going to use other people for your own benefit, and how you
yes,
have to pretend with themselves, because I was so blunt, and I'm very straightforward. I'm straightforward. So I'm telling the thing, but they are. Even I'm not lying with the parents. I don't lie about their child situation. I
yes,
feel that, okay, at that moment maybe they hate me, but one day they're going to understand that why I said this too. So this is what my strategy is. I don't lie to them. So I don't even lie to child as well. I will do what I ask them to do. I would do what I promise them to. That yes, we will do that. Okay. If it is 2 bites, then it is 2 bites. I'm not going to give him 3 bites if I'm working on feeding therapy. So maybe that was, maybe that hyper focus, and maybe staying at that time around working on my own thing give me what I'm doing nowadays. And I'm at a place where maybe a lot of want to be, but I'm happy that I find my way. And anybody can find their way. So the thing is that you have to make a peace with yourself, because there's a lot of negativity around you, and when you're on spectrum, you already have this idea that there's something different about you, and you question all the time. And whenever I get this idea, because it is not that, maybe he was saying that he used to, and he was making fun of me as well. So he was saying that in fun way, that this girl with the ADHD, she cannot sit, she talks so fast and she know everything, and she would, a lot of things coming. But when I work on, my own, I thought that I have to tell other people what is autism, what is mental health, why it's important, because I have seen a lot of, and the other thing, coming into this virtual world and global thing, is that whenever I see people giving somebody wrong information about something, for example, why my child is not able to talk, I would say that, why don't you ask this question from the therapist? Are you taking therapy? They would say, yes, we are taking therapy. Oh, that's why. So I would say that, yes, I'm going to take therapy. I said, why don't you ask this question from the therapist? I mean, how much time this child is over there, whether it's 6 o'clock. So he should have something kind of, initial sitting span, attention span, listening power. You should have that thing with that child as well. So when I tell reality to the people, they would, the group owner or the post owner would cross my, I would not see my comment over there again. I was thrown away out of the, that group. Wait a minute. Sorry.
He wants to be in the interview. It's okay.
That is my own language, actually. That they want me to go there. So, okay, the thing is that, so they would.
Dr. I was going to say, Dr. Khan, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Dr. Khan, you have figured it out the way I think sometimes I have to remind myself I cannot get frustrated with people because they just don't always understand, or like you said, they don't see the ability within themselves to pull that ability out of themselves.
That is the point, actually.
Yes.
So you have to find, because there are a lot of individuals with autism who have depressive tendencies, and they don't see why they have to live, because they don't see a positive motivation over there. And over there, you have to have a motivation for yourself, that why you have to have a goal so that you can go. Because maybe after 3 years, when I was growing up, maybe after 3 years, I would see what I'm going to do now, why I'm living. I would question the life, that why I have to live. I mean, it's not even about the people, why I have to live, what I have to do, why I'm in this world. So you have to have, your own thing, you have to have your own passion, and you have to find that out. So, when they would throw me away out of the group and stuff like that, they would block me, and they would, delete my question, my responses. After that, I have my own page as well. So I started taking that question and started responding that question. So I would do maybe live over there. So that's how I came to that thing, and that's how I start talking to them. And that was a point when I see that parents are suffering, nobody's telling them the reality. That give me more motivation, actually. I mean, you at least you have to tell them the exact situation why the child is not talking, and what you could do, because you can do everything, you can do a lot.
I think when you realize that your child might have a disability or something, they have something that's different, right? Life isn't about you anymore.
Yeah.
Now you have been given this child, and your job is to protect that child and do everything you can to give him or her the best life possible, which some people struggle because they want to have their selfish side. They want to, remember them. And you said it, like, they're not alone. And we want them to be able to, families to be able to go and get their time, their peace, and their, maybe they get away for a weekend or do something like that. But realizing that life is different for you now, and you have to embrace that. And you have to accept that.
Why I start telling them the reality. In start, I have faced a lot of problem because of that, because I'm blunt. So I would say them. So my, my trainer would say that you have to say them in different way. I would say, what is the different way to tell somebody that the child has some kind of problem? They would fight with me. Okay, in initial there was a case, and that lady started fighting with me. The child was CP child, and she was on the you could say she was not able to walk, and maybe after 1 or 2 years she would go on the wheelchair. So I tell her directly that this is a problem with the child, and if you did not start doing therapy, the child could go into worse situation. And she did not listen to me, and she started fighting with that woman who referred her to me. And she was very kind because I was working with her child, and she did not let her into my house. But that was a huge fight over there. And she went to some other institution, and they just crossed my report. They said that we are not going to accept a single word written in that report. And my report was very detailed actually. So they did not accept that thing. And they said that your child is going to walk within 1 year, talk within 1 year. Do you believe that a cerebral palsy child can do that? And the mother that believed, because they were selling their dreams. So after 1 year, that mother came to me, and the child was like that. Now tell me, if the muscles are like that, what I'm going to do about that? I cannot open the wrist actually. So maybe she would have listened to me at that time, and she would have realized, and other people would not have. The child would be in a better position. So that was the kind of thing which bothered me a lot, which hurt me a lot actually. So that's the thing that I started advocating about mental health. I started advocating about autism, about children, about families, you could say. So I think there should be someone to fight with them. There should be someone, still maybe when I'm doing something, maybe professionals are not coming and they have issue that I'm too blunt about telling the reality. I make parents aware to ask them question, and telling them the reality, how the processes are, how the child is going to learn different things. So I really don't care about that thing.
Well, and you know what?
I'm working for the children. I'm working for the greater good actually. So this is my way, and this is how I came into this thing, and this is how it keep me growing. When I see a child growing, because recently there was a child I was working with that child virtually. That child came to Pakistan, and they have their stay on near to my institution. So the child came, and the child was not eating anything. So now he eat maybe 2 banana daily, 2 banana, 2 mangoes, and one peach. And the mother is so happy. And she said, "This is a cross." He said, "This is the most amazing thing for me, that child start eating actually." So when you see these children growing up, responding you, that is giving you some extra kind of energy. And I think it's a good way to keep going for these children, working for these family, working for those parents who don't understand anything, working for even I'm dealing, I'm doing therapy of nowadays adult with spectrum, with ADHD. Now their problems are different. So I think working with them is something that give you more motivation instead of these negativity around you. And that's all I could say. And I could talk about that for hours and hours, when it comes to autism, when it comes to therapy, when it comes to psychology, when it comes to motherhood, parenting, family. I think it's my subject, and I just find my hyper focus actually, and I'm just following that.
I think that people, when they realize the passion that you have to serve a community like this, they're going to have to listen to you, because you spent so much time. I want to go to the next slide to show everybody, how to reach out to you or to myself, and for them to see all the things that you have focused on globally, to help support and learn. You talk to people every single day, multiple times throughout the day, from all over the world, to learn about autism and at-risk. We say at-risk populations because autism, sometimes families are telling me, oh, my child was diagnosed with ADHD. And I'm like, yeah, mine too. But then autism exhibited. So, people don't realize, like, ADHD, OCD, anxiety, stress, and, all those things can relate back to autism down the road. It may just not be the primary.
And it's not even about that. When the child came to you, you're thinking about giving them the skill. You're thinking about giving him the important skill to talk, to sit, and stuff like that. So when child came to, once a child is diagnosed, then your next step should be what you're going to do about that. And the point why I'm advocating this thing, because I suffered a lot because of this problem. It's not that the road was not easy, because I did not, over here, I did not talk about my suffering. I did not talk about my problems. Maybe a little bit I talk a little bit about my problems, but that was a hard road for me. And you're alone on that road, and there should be at least I'm in a position to let other people understand that I'm with them. They are not alone, and I think it's another motivation and it's another level of satisfaction for me that I can help them, and I have this skill, and I think we are going to do a lot of good things together globally, and we are going to serve the community on the level we can, maybe virtually, maybe in person. So it's a virtual world. You can do anything virtually, like I'm doing,
Absolutely.
like you are doing. So I'm happy and excited that the spectrum talk, depends the talk. I think we are going to do a lot of great things together, and I'm
I
very
agree.
helpful, hopeful, and I'm very excited as well. So let's serve this community together, and those who are listening to us, and those who would listen later on, and those who want to reach us toward, they need to understand that they are not alone. They can talk to us, they can come to us, and we are going to help them the way we can. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much,
Well,
everybody, for listening.
Dr. Khan, thank you for taking the time today. Anybody that would like to reach out to Dr. Khan, you can do so on LinkedIn. She has WhatsApp, and she is a clinical psychologist, psychotherapist, speech and language therapy. She does research for different people under their direction, mental health advocacy, autism expert in advocacy. She has created a global alliance for persons with different additional and special needs. Her location is Main. I'm
Peshawar
going to
Road.
Peshawar
In Peshawar Road,
Road.
Shabbi Lane, near Saverpur, Rawalpindi, actually.
Savor food. This is so good. We are so blessed to have you on, and I feel like with you and Sounds of Autism serves people all over the world as well. We have 16 programs from prenatal till the end of life, and the reach that we go for with people like Dr. Khan is to bring awareness that autism does not discriminate. It will be anywhere all over the world, and everybody seems to be struggling with the same things, but they're also learning the same things about this population. It's an unbelievable ending if you do the right things and you follow the guidance of those that understand your child has abilities that you don't even know about. And this probably goes for all children, but especially autism, because of the hyper focus, because of the lack of socialization. They don't spend so much time on things that are unimportant. They focus on things that are important and that are going to, help them survive. So that said, Dr. Khan, we will be back in a week to do this again.
Yeah.
Thank everybody we thank you all for joining us and listening in today. And if there's anything we can do to help support you, please reach out to Dr. Khan or myself so that we can support you in finding your guidance. Thank you.
Thank you so much. 1 hour recording.